Hello and welcome to episode 213 of the Daily Sales Message, where every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice. It's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff too. If you're new around here, my name is James Jewell and I teach people how to sell for a living, and for me that comes in two very distinct parts. It starts with having what I call a clear sales message, being able to articulate very clearly what you offer. Do people understand it? Sounds flippant, but if you ever had that problem, it's quite important. And the second part is selling confidence, the ability to be relaxed, comfortable, and confident in a selling situation. In this episode of the Daily Sales Message, we're talking about the power of repetition. The power of repetition, and this is nothing to do with learning things through repetition and everything to do with getting people to repeat the things they've said to you to diminish them ultimately. And this is a really interesting tactic that you can use in negotiations when you're selling to people. Or, it's not really sales related, if somebody's rude to you. If somebody says something rude to you, you can either ask them to repeat it. Sorry, can you say that again? Or you can repeat it back to them. Sorry, did you just say to me blah, blah, blah? In both instances, what we're doing is holding them to account for what they said. A lot of people, we'll talk about being rude for a second, nothing to do with sales, but it makes the point. A lot of people are rude in a dismissive and quick way, and they're hoping that you're not going to pick up on it. It takes a lot of kind of courage to say, actually, James, what did you just say to me? Did you just say blah, blah, blah? People don't tend to do that because it's confrontational. But if you ask somebody to repeat what they've said or you repeat it back to them, it puts them in that position. It helps you to re-dominate the conversation, and it makes them realize that you're not going to be walked over. How this works in a sales scenario, let's say we're negotiating and you've given me a ridiculous offer, you want to give me 20 pence and have all of this stuff. I can then repeat back to you and say, okay, James, so for 20p, you want me to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this for 20p. Have I understood that correctly? And by repeating it back to you in like broad daylight, as it were, or broad voice light, it's probably a thing. By repeating it back to you, I'm kind of making the starkness of it apparent and making the ridiculousness of your suggestion, your offer in this negotiating scenario, just getting it out there. And at that point, it takes a lot of courage on your part to say, yeah, and it's a great deal. At that point, you might concede something. Oh, okay, maybe we could cut this out. We'll do it for 30p or whatever. So the repeat diminisher, as I call it, is all about either repeating back to you the things that people have said or asking them to repeat themselves, because when they repeat something, when something is repeated to them in the cold light of day, so when they hear back the words they're using, the ridiculous offers they're making, the rude things they're saying, etc., it takes a sting out of it. And it's very rare to find a person who will just continue back up, yep, that's what I said, I'm sticking to it. Very rare that will happen. Often it helps to diminish the situation and things recede. There we go. Not just sales tips and advice. I do mediation and crisis conflict management as well. Look at that. That's it for this episode of the Daily Sales Message. Excuse me. Tomorrow, episode 214, I'm going to make you an offer. A little bit like The Godfather, but you can refuse this offer, but I'm never going to make the offer to you ever again. I'll tell you more about that in tomorrow's episode. In the meantime, if you haven't already, hop on over to sellingconfidencescore.com. That's sellingconfidencescore.com. There is a 20-question, 2-minute quiz that will tell you how well or badly you're doing at sales and selling across 4 key categories. It will give you a score in each of them and a score overall. But more importantly, it will give you a simple action plan to improve in each one of those areas. So if you haven't already, go and grab your Selling Confidence Score at sellingconfidencescore.com. That's it for today. Thank you for listening or watching all the way to the end. I do appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow for another confrontational edition of the Daily Sales Message.